So we all know about the MAGA cult, Trump's religious-like following in these different very conservative pockets of the United States. The MAGA cult has plagued the United States for years now. It's certainly alive but unwell. The movement as a whole is just unwell. And it's really shown itself with all of these criminal charges that Donald Trump is facing and his criminal trial in New York City much more. You know, since his trial began, all these Republicans, these MAGA lunatics call it like a witch hunt or that he's being targeted or they're trying to waste his time, whatever it might be. They're coming up with every and any conspiracy to try to justify the charges against Donald Trump in their heads. They're doing the most extreme sport of mental gymnastics to try to make it make sense. And I just saw this clip today from Fox News yesterday morning on, day 6 of Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York City. And this woman, this Trump supporter, began to cry talking about the criminal charges against Donald Trump and the trial against him. Not crying like happy tears that he's being held accountable for something he did finally, but crying because she's claiming that he is targeted. And this is all a witch hunt, the usual MAGA stuff. So I'm going to show you that clip. It is just so insane. But before I do so, make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. I greatly appreciate it. But here's that clip from Fox News yesterday morning.
This is not about me. This is about targeting a political opponent. I was talking to this young lady right here. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. We were talking about the former president being under prosecution right now. What do you make of it? Do you think that is fair?
No, I don't think it's fair. It's ridiculous. They're just trying to keep him busy so he can't run.
You were telling me yesterday that as you thought about the case and you were watching about what was going on in New York, that it brought you to tears. Why is that?
Tears, because we need Trump back or else we're going to lose our country. We're going to lose our country. And what's happening with these protesters is heartbreaking. It's history happening all over again, and they don't understand how bad it could get or will get if we don't get Trump back in.
Thank you so much.
I mean, oh my God. Doesn't that stuff just make you want to crawl back into bed? When you just hear something like that? It's like, oh my, you have to be kidding me. That is the MAGA cult. That is the embodiment right there. Crying over Donald Trump. Crying because he's being held accountable. You're kidding me. Her justification, as you just heard right there, was, oh, they're trying to keep him busy. They don't want him campaigning. They try to keep him busy, which is an insane justification for a number of reasons. First and foremost, of course, because that is absolutely not what the criminal charges are about, specifically in New York. He's being accused of interfering with the 2016 presidential election by covering up embarrassing stories about him and then falsifying business records to get it done and make sure the story stays silent. I don't know how that's keeping him busy. Prosecutors have ample evidence to show this. I don't think they've ever considered the possibility that Donald Trump just broke the law. It always is a conspiracy of some sort. It's always some deep state nonsense. They never just say, well, maybe Donald Trump just did it. And maybe prosecutors who do their jobs have a reason to be indicting Donald Trump. No, of course, it's never that. But I also think this is a really bad excuse because on the days that Donald Trump does have off from court, he's not campaigning. Like today, Wednesday, April 24th, court is not in session. They only do 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Wednesday, Donald Trump could be holding a campaign event. He could be out there on the trail. He could be talking about the issues that matter to the Republican base or your independent voters in the United States, but he didn't. He didn't. Matter of fact, we have a statement from a Biden spokesperson responding to Donald Trump's campaign events today, and it's just simple. He had none. He had none. So, really, the charges are keeping him from campaigning. I just think that Donald is low energy. I don't think he can keep up with a campaign schedule. That's why he's falling asleep in court. 4 times now he's fallen asleep in court. I don't think it has anything to do with charges. I think it has everything to do with him aging, not being able to do the job as president and hoping that his supporters will just project him there without actually having to go out and campaign and talk to voters. But when I just saw that clip, I was gobsmacked. I mean, we know about the MAGA cult, but crying over Donald Trump, crying because he's been held accountable? Seriously? And saying that if he doesn't come back, we won't have a country anymore? That he needs to win to save the country, please. I mean, please. It's so insane. They treat him like a god. He's untouchable in their eyes. Magically, they really believe this. With people like that, and I'm not trying to pick on her, I really am not. But folks like that believe that every issue ever was solved under Donald Trump. There was no bad stuff, and that he can do it. If he comes in office, he'll fix it all again, which is nonsense. Government doesn't work like that. Certainly didn't work like that under Donald Trump, but they truly believe it. It's like in their heads. It's the MAGA cult. That's why I said earlier in the video that the MAGA cult is alive, but it's deeply unwell. It is deeply necessary of some treatment, right? Now, that was just one clip of like a MAGA cultist regarding Donald Trump's criminal trials. I have another one to show you from The Good Liars. I'm sure you know who they are. They're fantastic. The political comedy group that goes out there and interviews different Trump supporters and has them contradict themselves in like a sentence or just say something insane, as the Trump supporters frequently do. But at a recent rally for Trump all the way back in like the beginning of April, the Good Liars were there, and they asked a supporter waiting in line how he would feel if Donald Trump killed a political opponent in relation to Donald Trump's immunity claims that are being argued in front of the Supreme Court, where he says he can't be prosecuted, that he could even kill a political opponent and he'd be okay. And take a look at what this Trump supporter had to say in response to that question.
Doesn't matter what he does, I'm going to vote for him.
It really doesn't matter what he does.
Doesn't matter what he does, and I assume a lot of this crowd can agree with me as well.
Well, what if he had a political opponent killed, like his lawyer said, that he would be immune from?
Vote for Trump.
Still voting for Trump, even if he had a political opponent killed?
I'll make it clear for you. I don't care what he does. I'm voting for Trump, and I think majority of this line is too.
Even if he had a political opponent killed?
Absolutely. Doesn't matter. I'm voting for Trump.
Well, there you have it.
He can do anything, he says. No matter what Donald Trump does, that man that you just heard from will still vote for him. He could even kill a political opponent. Just do it in broad daylight. Doesn't matter. That man would still vote for him. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who support Donald Trump who would do the exact same thing. Kill a political opponent. It's just like that woman before, that Donald Trump can do no wrong, and if Donald Trump does something wrong, it's not wrong, it's actually right. And any liberal or Democrat or independent who points it out must be part of the deep state. They must be out to get Donald Trump. It's the typical line of reasoning with Trump supporters. But seriously, like, they believe he can do no wrong. They believe that everything he does is righteous and moral, and he has a reason for it. He has a good justification, and that he should not be questioned. This is how you get dictators. This is how you get kings. This is how you get democracies destroyed, when there is such a fervent base of support. Just radical support for somebody, and never any accountability for that person. Even when there's ample evidence, that's when we're going down a tough road. That's how you know America is in a tough spot right now. And I always just think it's crazy how they claim that these criminal charges against Donald Trump are unfounded. It's just a deep state. They're making up stuff. But in the classified document case, for example, Donald Trump is literally on audio admitting that he had a classified document in his hand. He could have declassified it. He chose not to. And it's in his hand, and he still had it, which is the entire allegation around him. That he knowingly, intentionally, willfully retained national defense information, classified documents, very serious crime, very serious charges, with a lot of evidence to back it up, and he's on audio admitting to it, but somehow, still, that's a witch hunt. Somehow, still, that case is flawed, and they're just going out to get him. Oh, man. You know, that's why I said MAGA has plagued the United States, because when we can't hold people accountable, when they've pretty clearly done something wrong, we're in a bad spot, ladies and gents. So I just saw those two clips on these Trump supporters commenting on the legal cases against Donald Trump, voicing their support for him. I was just mind blown. Had to show it to you folks and hopefully get a discussion going and hear your thoughts about it. Just insanity. Just utter insanity. So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. I greatly appreciate it. Also, drop a like on the video, comment. As I mentioned, I want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I appreciate you being here.